Okay, we're ready. Good morning, everybody. This is the TAC meeting for August. And we'll start with the roll call.
Before we do roll
Before
call,
roll
I want to do a quick introduction of two new COG employees. The first one is Grace Alston, who is a new regional planner, and Zoe Beckley, who is our transportation intern. They both started exactly a month ago, but since we didn't have a TAC meeting in July, we're now meeting them. So, yeah, Grace and Zoe.
Welcome. I see you. Okay, so good. Now we will really.
All right, sounds good. Once I state your agency, if you could state your name, that would be great. I'll start out with Benton-Franklin Transit.
Kevin Slager.
Benton County. See Robert there.
Robert Mendez.
Rocky Wallace.
Connell. Kennewick.
Steve Bullock.
Pasco.
Maria Seven.
Prosser.
Scott Coleman.
Richland.
Carlos Alessandro.
General here.
West Richland.
Roscoe Slade.
Franklin County. Port of Benton. Port of Kennewick. Port of Pasco. And Wascott South Central. Looks like just joined. I know Phil and Seth are.
Yeah, Lydia is from public transportation.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, we have a quorum.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we move on to public comment, and this is an opportunity for our guests. They want to share anything?
Lydia Spencer.
I'm not seeing any hands raised or anybody unmuting. Last call for comments? Seeing none, we'll move on. Number 4, approval of agenda. For that, unless there are any questions or comments, we'll look for a motion in a second.
So moved, Rocky. Second.
Thank you. And all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Passes unanimously. Number 5. This is minutes from previous meeting. That's the June 4th. Remember, there was no meeting in July. Any comments or corrections? I'm not seeing any. If so, looking for a motion in a second.
Move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Second, Rocky.
Thank you so much. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay. Passes unanimous. Okay, number 6, action items. Item A, 2026-2029 PIP amendments. And
All right, yeah, so for the month of August, we have 4 amendments. One's from the city of Kennewick and 3 are from Wascott South Central. For Kennewick, it's adding a project, and Wascott South Central, they're also adding a project, and then removing 2 projects. If you have any questions, I'm sure Keith would be happy to speak on it, but other than that, the motion is in front of you.
So moved, Rocky. Second.
thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. It passes unanimously. 6B, 2027 Regional Transportation Priorities. For this, Aaron.
All right, this is listed as an action item, but it also could just be information and discussion coming back next month or in October. So just keep that in mind. So this is our annual update of our regional transportation priorities list. We did this last year as a small update, and we overhauled the process the year before. So we are seeking guidance from the TAC on how they want to update the list this time around. So in the TAC packet, there were 2 options presented, and I'm actually going to present 2 more options as well based upon what you decide. So just letting you know with some background information. So on the left, you can see that was our list in 2025. And then we had 11 projects when we first did this. And then, into 2026, we had two projects that were fully funded, so they dropped off. That was that White Bluffs Rail project and then the Alexander Court project. Those were funded, so they dropped, and then we added the Tri-Cities Metro Loop, so making it 10 for 2026. The Tri-Cities Metro Loop has been fully funded, so it's going to drop off. And then, West Richland has informed us that the Keene Road widening project is fully funded, so it's going to drop off. But something to keep in mind is when we first did this, we did this as a front six, so those are on the front, and then there's projects of other regional significance. So you're seeing the projects in bold blue, those would be front of the page projects, the ones that are in green, and not bolded, those would be back of the page projects. So using the example of the White Bluffs Rail, so that was the number 5, you can see Road 76 then became number 5, and Moose Road went from number 7 to number 6. So with that being said, for 2027, if we were to follow the same methodology, this would be the list. But we are missing 2 spots to make it a nice round 10. So what does the TAC want to do to fill out those final 2 spots? That would be the question. So the options in front of you, so option 1 and option 2 were in the TAC packet. So option 1 is update the project information, projects slide up. This is what we did last year. Option 2 is a completely new project submission process, so that would essentially be ripping the list apart and starting a new list and having that adopted. Option 3 is new project submission process for the number 9 and number 10 spots on the regional transportation priorities list. The previous number 7 slides up to then become number 6. And then option 4 is a new project submission process for the number 6 spot and the number 9 and number 10 spots on the regional transportation priorities list. So just throwing that all out to the TAC and want to hear some discussion on this, how we should move forward.
I'm opening this for comments. I have my own thought process on this, but like, I want to hear you both first. Hopefully we'll have some shared ones.
I like option 3. That's my opinion. I like option 3. You slide 7 up. Yeah, open it up for 2 new ones. I'll take number 9 or 10, doesn't matter. So that's my opinion. I like option 3.
Anybody else?
So I like option 3 too, but that's probably because it's a shared kind of like Richland project that we've done. I know that the Good Roads project list has the US 12 project on it, and I think there was a desire at some point to have those have non-conflicting information about what our top projects are. But that's my input. I don't know that I want, that probably amenable either way to that. Moving that US 12 project or doing option 3.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is not to switch the top 6. We've heard that from our legislators that they don't want to see that change every year. And the only changes they want to see is if it's funded or constructed and take it off and then put another one out there, but don't keep switching them around. So option 3 does that. When did we populate this list originally?
In 2024 for the long 2025 session.
Okay, and I don't know if there's option 4 gets you if there's a new regional project that needs to be considered for the front. That would be the only reason to go to 4. I don't know if there's not one. Watch Richland. Then 3 or 4. Good.
Any other comments?
What was yours, Maria?
I prefer option 3, which does not bring US 12 up enough, but it doesn't matter, I think, from the perspective of having our system be consistent. this is my offering to the group. And I've done this before in other processes, like, it doesn't benefit Pasco the most. I don't think that matters. I think that as part of the TAC, like the region as a whole is more important and Pasco is well served. Anyways, we have the project in there, other projects of importance is there. I know Rose has it higher up, yes, all that is true. But 3 seems to be consistent with what we're attempting to do, which is keep consistency, move them down or out when they're done. And then, yes, we backfill at the bottom of the list and things become higher up. I think the only time when maybe we should consider revisiting the whole list is once the study's done for that regional metro. At that point, maybe that needs to be reconsidered to where maybe the whole region supports a project that benefits everybody. Right, and it's so big that none of us alone can handle. But I don't like option 2, that's for sure. I don't like option 2. I don't like shortening the list, seems like a missed opportunity. And then doing a new selection process for just the spots is a little messy. So 3 seems to be a good choice.
When's the regional study scheduled to be complete?
End of 28. 2 years from now.
So,
If you could make it summer 28, that would work better.
yes.
That way we could get our projects updated before the start of a new biennial legislative session.
It's a good segue into the next thing I'll present. You can make that a point of fairly form. So if we're moving forward with option 3, here is a tentative schedule we could follow. This is an abbreviated one. Last time we did this, we did it over a 2-month period of, this is abbreviated to having this adopted next month. We can push it out to October, that's okay, but just wanted to put this in front of everybody. So after the TAC meeting today, I follow up an email with the process, application / due dates. The project submissions are due back to the COG with a limitation of limit 2 per agency. That's with an asterisk. There are some organizations that already have 2 projects on the list. Kennewick and Richland already have 2 projects on the list. Pasco already has 2 projects on the list. So this would really be a smaller call for those 8 9 spots. Projects received will be then included in the TAC packet at the end of the month, and then the next TAC meeting on the 3rd, there'd be a short presentation on the projects. If needed, we could also only receive 2 projects. And then we would have the voting at the TAC meeting, and then in September it would be adopted at our board meeting. If not, it just gets pushed out to where we have the presentations at the September TAC meeting. You all then send your final scores back to the COG, and then we would just rinse and repeat that process in October rather than having the recommendation asked in September. So asking all of you what you would prefer.
Okay, I'll go first.
How's your guys' work?
That's fine.
Okay.
For me, I can make those, I can meet that.
Yeah, August 21st. Is reasonable. Yeah, so Aaron, just to be clear, so agencies that already have 2 on the list would not be able to submit any projects?
That's to be consistent when we first populated the list, yes. And I will, when I send out the follow-up email, I'll indicate which ones have 2 projects on the list. And
So I can't sell these one of West Richard's spots.
I'm not gonna tell you what you can't sell.
Okay.
You can sell these whatever you want. Okay, so we're okay with the proposed schedule on the screen here?
Yeah.
Hi.
I don't like Jennifer.
Yeah, so with that being said, this proposed motion isn't needed. It will be coming back next month with a proper motion, so we can ignore this. Any other discussion that's needed on this? I will be sending a follow-up email with all of this information and the application and those things after the TAC meeting. Cool.
All right. Item 7. 7, this is report from discussion items. Item 8, federal fiscal year 2026 obligation status. And for that, Jeremy.
All right, so we're at crunch time. Kind of the last month to get your packages in for those that have yet to obligate, but, so far, we've had 13 projects obligated for just under 5.9 million. And that said, there's been 7 projects that have de-obligated for just over 1 million. So that leaves our remaining target at 870,000. And so we are, in the little note below says, to please submit by August 28th. Make sure that there's an overview and approval time for WashDOT, in submitting your obligation packages. And I will move to the project obligation table. There are 3 projects left: West Richland, Browning Range, Benton City's Riverfront Park Trail, and then also Benton County's County Route 12 active transportation path affairs. So just going down the list of those that are remaining. Roscoe, do you have any update?
Yeah, we'll meet the August.
Okay, cool.
Deadline.
And what about Benton City?
FHWA and WASDOT have approved our license agreement for this. So I will have that, yes, we are gonna make it.
Beautiful. All right, Benton County, Robert. do you have-
Yes, the final review and design is with local programs right now.
Awesome. Sweet, I mean, if all goes well, then we'll exceed our target by a couple 100,000 and we'll be good to go into next year. Here is Roscoe's favorite table that I always remembers, 2027. Are there any projects that, I mean, I guess the is written for the AID Kellogg Addison, is that, it's no punishment if it doesn't obligate this year.
Yeah, nice to make that.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah,
So something for us to think about is we have our preservation contingency list from the golfer projects. So just ballparking numbers here, we're at like roughly 5.6 million. That's gonna put us below our obligation target for next year. So we will be looking at our contingency list to fill again. And we will be in contact with all of you sooner than later on that.
any discussion on that or?
We selected through 2028.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
Any comments, questions? Okay. 7B, Summer Planning Academy.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So just wanted to do a report on the Summer Planning Academy. I mentioned it during our last TAC meeting about what was up ahead. So just a reminder, the purpose of that academy was to provide an opportunity, just a free hands-on exploration of careers as well as just leadership. But basically allowing these high school students to really learn about what urban and regional planning is. So we hosted that from July 10th through 9th. We had a final project open house on July 15th. They completed a lot. They did a lot in those 3 days. They did over 15 hours of just instruction. We did a walking tour. A special shout out to some of our members here for all of your help. To Carlo and John, super appreciate it. They were part of the tour, as well as Kevin and Gabe. They did a great job. We also had a nationally recognized award-winning urban planner come to do a guest speak. So I guess guest speaking session. I'm like, why is my words not happening? And that was really successful. And so also wanted to thank Maria for coming for that session for all of the jurisdictions and just meeting with them. So it was really great. They were able to work in teams. They developed these final redevelopment conceptual projects for the old former city hall and the city of Richland. So if you'd like to see those, they are displayed just outside this hall. You can kind of look and see what they took from all of those 3 days and put into design. So it was very successful. We are hoping that this is the start of an annual program, so we're hoping to do this every year and continuing to just collaborate with all of you on potential multi-use developments that might interest you that would actually benefit to have some student creativity put into it. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know, but we are excited to do this every year. And then on the slide, you have your pictures of all of our students who participated. We had 8 students, and then these are their proposals that we had.
The kids were thrilled.
Yeah, they were very excited. A lot of them were from Delta High School, so they were like super into STEM and had practice presenting, so they were very professional. It was a wonderful, wonderful time.
Any questions or comments? All right. 7C, BFCOG 2026 Regional Traffic Count Program.
Yeah, so we've officially launched the collection of data this week. We're doing rural sites, now we have street light for the urban areas. We went through the selection process with the board, as we didn't have a TAC meeting in July. They approved awarding the contract to IDAX, who's collected data for us since the 2016 program launched. And yeah, sorry, scattered everywhere. We're collecting data at 220 sites in Benton County, Cornell, Prosser, and then throughout Benton-Franklin counties. This week, I emailed all the other jurisdictions that do have data being collected. Here's the map that I forwarded them and the schedule. As you can see, this week we're doing Franklin County and Cornell, and kind of scrolling down and then headed east after that. Or headed west, sorry. There's also a Capture It interactive map that I provided a link for to get real-time updates of what the status is of those counts. And then, yeah, we're hopeful that the data collection will conclude starting on October. So any questions to that?
No questions?
Trainer, when do you anticipate getting data to the jurisdiction?
By the end of October. Pending any major delays with. If there's any. Or want to decide to rip up the 2 counters or do something crazy. But new recaps. Yeah, and also please let me know if there are any projects that may cause a difference in normal data collection, road closures. All that good stuff.
Okay, any
Tanner?
comment?
Yeah, this is Robert with Benton County. In what format are they going to be providing the information? Is it going to be the same manner that they did in 24, or is it going to be different?
Yep, it will be the exact same manner. And then we did this. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it the same vendor? Or
It is, yeah.
okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Are they still using houses?
Yeah,
Or they're not migrating to the cameras?
No, it's just been a reliable way to do it. It's rural, so yeah, just cost effective and the pneumatic tube counters and whatever, it's just very good, reliable source.
You think with AI and all that, they can just take all the images and processed in a day or something?
For sure. I mean, who knows, maybe in 2 years, there will be some crazy more AI stuff, but we like, old folks here, just all of it, even, don't like much change, I guess.
The 2 counters Tanner mentioned are the data that the cameras would provide would be more expensive to get the same data we're hoping to collect in the rural locations. If we were doing like an urban environment, turning with more turning movement counts and things like that, that's something to consider.
Any other comments or questions? Good discussion. Okay, I'm not seeing any. Are we ready? 7D, Tri-Cities Metro Loop Transportation Study Proposals.
All right, so this is kind of our monthly touch base on the TC Metro Loop. So just a reminder for everybody, the TC Metro Loop study will evaluate the entire Tri-Cities transportation system in Benton and Franklin County as it was envisioned during the Road Ahead Transportation Reimagined meeting. We had the RFP out for a month from June 19th to July 20th, and we received 3 proposals. They were linked in your packet. So there was one was from Fair and Piers with the list of subs that are on the screen. The second was from Transpo with the list of subs that are on the screen. And then the third was from WSP with no subs under their proposal. But with that, so as we're right now in the process of reviewing the proposals, next Friday, each of the proposal or say, we'll just say potentially qualified consultants will be doing a short presentation on their proposal they have submitted to us. So their proposal will be 10 minutes and then an opportunity for us to ask questions. If you would like to sit in on these presentations, you're more than welcome to as TAC members as your joint committee. I just ask if you are going to sit in on one, please sit in on all 3 for consistency between all of the presentations. So the presentations will take place at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. And they will be 10 minutes of presentations and then questions following. So it might not take the full scheduled 45 minutes for each one of them, but if you're going to sit in for one, please plan on sitting in for all 3. With that being said, TAC members' scoring sheets are due back to the COG on August 14th. So the afternoon of that by 4 p.m. on August 14th. And then we will be notifying the selected consultant no later than the 26th. And then we're hoping to have them under contract by the end of September. And then to Roscoe's point, we will make sure that we work out the timeline to be able to have the finalized project list in summer of 2028 so that we can update our legislative priority list. Any questions?
I just had one thing. Would that also line up with our next call for federal projects?
It would. So if you are just asking the group, if you are interested in participating in the proposal presentations, please let me know so I can forward the meeting invites to you.
Aaron, that's virtual.
Correct. It will all be virtual.
I already have the invite.
Yes.
I'm interested.
What's the drop dead date? Thursday?
Yeah, probably 8:55 on the 14th.
Aaron, this is Robert. With Benton County. Can you forward that to me? I don't know if Christina will still be out of town, but
Okay.
if you could forward that to me.
Yes.
Thank you.
The interviews are not scored,
No.
right? So it's just to hear them present on what they had proposed in their written proposal. So all the scoring truly happens in the written proposals with the criteria that was in their queue. So,
Correct.
I mean, even if you're not part of the interview, like don't stress, like you're not missing out on the selection. But just for clarity.
Aaron, can you forward that to Brown County?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on vacation, more important things.
I will forward that to him. All right, so I got Carlo, John, and then Robert. Anybody else?
I'll be there.
Yeah, Bria and Kevin are, sorry, I have you written down.
I have a question on the schedule.
Yes,
So we'll notify the consultant that is selected likely on August 26th or no later than, and then we need to negotiate a scope and fee with them. And does that need to come to the TAC for approval? And then go to the board, or is that process not necessary for the?
it's a good question. So the way that we've done it so this is the first time we've done something to this scale. Normally, we've done where the September TAC meeting would be. TAC would recommend that we enter into a contract with name of selected proposal, so the TAC doesn't have to be reviewing all of the contract details that will probably go back and forth with WashDOT on to make sure that they're fine. All of the budgetary things will still be worked out in this, or, will be worked out based upon their scope. And it's written as contract executed because between now, we'll say end of September, we don't know what the back and forth will be between us and them, so that's why it's just written as to enter into a contract versus having to bring forward the contract for actual approval of the TAC. And it says August 26th, I'll say, however, like Monday, the 17th, we will probably have the final answer, so they'll be notified much sooner, so we could start working out the contract sooner.
Are we all good? Great. People online, any comments, questions? Now's the time. No, okay. Okay, so now we move on to item 8. Public comment. This is the second opportunity in the meeting for public comment from our guests. And I'm not seeing any hands being raised. Oh, David?
Yes, I'd just like to acknowledge that I'm pleased to see the the Island View to Vista Field project make it up the priority list a little, and I urge you to consider that. And also I have a question, could that be broken into segments that would make that easier to obtain the money for? Don't have to answer at the moment. And Bike Tri-Cities would offer to be involved in the planning, or at least sitting in to see what's going on, offer any suggestions. And I also would like to congratulate Elizabeth and the group for putting on that planning academy. I think that's a great leadership idea. And once again, there too, we would Bike Tri-Cities could be involved maybe in recruiting participants for that, or somehow involved. Great project. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Lydia Caudell, and as Aaron mentioned, I am the new community transportation planner for the South Central region. I was joining today just to learn a little bit about more about what you're up to, and I actually am repeating what David Beach just said. Your planner academy was wonderful. I've had conversations with other planners about doing something like that. And if you have any resources or like a PowerPoint that you could share, I would love to have it so I could share it with other jurisdictions that I've also heard exploring that. I could drop my email in the chat if that helps, but great job, and lovely hearing about everything you're up to. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Yes, please do send your email in the chat box if you can. Any other comments? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands raised or anybody.
I don't know if we have chat enabled on the meeting. I will include Lydia's email in the follow-up email to everybody.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll move on to item 9, member comments. And we can go around the table, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll get started here. Good afternoon, everyone. So last month in July, BFCOG provided free rides the whole month, and we saw about a 15% increase in ridership. So that's some good news I'd like to share with everyone. And I always like to remind everyone of the free service we'll be providing to the fair here, next couple of weeks. On the project side of things, we're getting our facilities maintenance building kicked off and working with the city of Richland to get that going. So, hoping construction starts in mid-September, so.
Nice. Okay, for Pascal, we don't have it to share today, so I'm just gonna skip myself. We'll move on.
No comments. We're just working through a lot of projects. Our slurry seal, which is part of our field preservation project, is getting kicked to next year due to contractors' availability of some materials. But other than that, we're just continuing getting construction work done and design work done. Essentially completed our draft of our transportation system plan, which I believe has been sent to our steering committee members that are in this room. So please review it by the end of this week if you can, so we can compile your comments and get those addressed. Thank you.
For City of Kennewick, we just finished up our BST contract, so turned out good. With our BST contract, we've been doing the fog seal, and it seems like it's ended up a pretty good product out there. So we got that done. We're just starting with our overlay contract. It was awarded to Inland Asphalt this year. Prices came in a little bit higher than we anticipated because of the fuel costs and all. So we had to trim that down a bit, but we're still doing Edison from, Canal from Edison to Moraine, and then Southridge over by the Trios Hospital, between Hildebrand and Ridgeline. So I'll be happening next month. We've got 2 new signals coming on down on Bob Olson, one on 15th Avenue, then the other one on Sherman. And then we're gonna be doing a lot of transmission line work over on Olympia, so you wanna avoid that area. Then or Coney Center Boulevard White. We've got JV consultants there at 90% on the design for the overall corridor, and then we've got a right-of-way agent that's now starting into the appraisal process as well. So you see a couple stakes going up there, and that's the project where we've got construction funding committed for phase 1 between Quinault and Grand Ridge. So still seeking that remainder portion between Grand Ridge and the Chutes. Still on track for 2028 on that one. Then last but not least, I want to mention the Island View to Vista Field, since David Beach, he was interested in this. So we've been partnering with Richland on that. And so it is broken up into 2 phases, I guess, by jurisdiction. So Richland, their portion runs from Center Parkway north over Tap Teal, and then over the 240 crossing through the Cadillac Clinic area, and then we'll tie into the Sacagawea Trail, and then Kennewick's portion will take off from Center Parkway and then go on the north side of Columbia, the Columbia Mall, and then we'll have a bridge crossing over Columbia Center Boulevard, and then tie into the older neighborhood by Vista Elementary, and then eventually tie into Kellogg. And so that's the way that, so we've got a Kennewick side and a Richland side. And the way that the funding was broken out is that we've got that Climate Commitment Act money. And so fairly large projects, but I think was it Richland, you had 2.5 million on yours? 5 million. Oh, 5 million. Okay, 5 million on yours. And then we had, I think, 2.5 million on ours. But the way that it was set up is that it spread it all through PE right of way construction, so we really couldn't move on these things. And so we talked to Iowa's local programs and said, hey, can we move that funding up to the PE and right of way? Because then we'd start moving on the project. So they gave us the okay on that. So they committed the dollars. So we went through the solicitation process, and we just are getting on board KPFF. So we're going to be starting the design process and the right of way acquisition. We got it all rolled up in one package. So David, we'll be probably reaching out to your organization to get some input on that. I know
That's a part of the consultant package. They're gonna be doing some heavy, community outreach on that, but sort of exciting to see this big project finally moving along. So, that's it for Kennewick.
West Richland, SR 224 Red Mountain still under construction. The big news is the roundabout at Keene Road in Van Giesen will be open on Tuesday, August 25th. So a week ahead of school opening up, so Rocky commuting into the Tri-Cities will be able to not miss the detour there. So that's good. The project's moving along still on schedule for a spring completion. The Keene Road widening, getting questions on how did you fund $16 million project when you had big gaps in it, the 7 million. So the Red Mountain project was $7.7 million under budget. And so we went to the legislature and asked for a budget proviso. And so that was granted to basically amend the scope to do Keene Road widening from Belmont to Van Giesen. About 5 million of that 7.7. The other piece of it went to the DOT side of the budget to cover overhead and some other stuff on there to make that whole on their budget. So just kind of came together. Wasn't expected, but nice gift. So that funds that $16 million corridor in about 5 different projects, but it's with different funding sources, but it's there. And so the design's moving forward on that. So we 27 is a signal at South Islands. That's a TIP grant. There's some widening there at the wetland and environmental mitigation there that's going on in 27. And then 28, 29 is what we're calling phase 1, phase 2. So phase 1 is for Bond Range to Belmont widening. Phase 2 is the Belmont. So it'll be about the same time, but they'll be done as 4 different projects. And then lastly, our transportation element is in for review. Are we before Carlo? Did we get ours submitted before Carlo? So
yours is the transportation element, theirs is their transportation system plan.
oh, different. Oh, yes. Okay, so different. So we're still on schedule.
I think technically Carlo got everything before.
Okay.
But not the same, but just that.
Okay. We'll move on to online participants. So Robert for Benton County.
Yeah, we've got about 4 projects that are in design right now. We have County Wells Phase 1 and 3, and that's going to be designed this winter. District Line Chandler is currently in design as well, and we're shooting for 2027 construction on that one. We did some coring on Badger Road for our rechannelization, and we are waiting on WashDOT to provide comments on the coring results. Oak Street, we are trying to push that for a construction beginning next month. It is currently in design, and today we are having our pre-con for our safety pedestrian crossing, and that should start on the 17th. And we had that Hanks Road repair, that emergency repair, and I believe that is back open. We just did our second shot on that one for that emergency repair. That's what we got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and City of Prosser, Scott.
Yes, ma'am. Alexander Court Phase 1, we paved over the last couple of days. Got that wrapped up. They're gonna do some shoulder work, and then the illuminations all getting worked on right now, and then cleanup, and the contractor's hoping to be out of there in the next week or so. And then the due date was by the 25th for school, so I'm sure there'll be some cleanup and that kind of stuff. And then also Byron Road is at the state for review. We all know that that's taken longer than we'd like, but it looks like that'll be a spring project. With the amount of time we won't have the time to get it done with federal rules on the paving. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you. And finally, Franklin County, Jeff,
No comment today.
thank you. Okay. Any comments from staff?
I know that Daisy has been emailing all of you about the RTP interviews, so just to make sure to select that. And then I just went through and I made a quick list, so the list of jurisdictions that cannot submit a new project for projects 9 and 10 are Richland, Kennewick, or Pasco. The rest of the jurisdictions are eligible to submit projects. However, I still need updated language from everybody. We'll say Heath did already submit updated language, so kudos to Heath for reading the packet, sending updated language. So just Pasco, Richland, Heath didn't provide updated language for Island View to Vista Field Trail, was only Columbia Center Lighting. Don't know whose court the ball is in on that one. But I will include all this in the email, just wanted you to be aware.
Thank you. Okay, our next meeting is September 3rd at 11 a.m. Again, hybrid, but if you want to be here, super cool when we're here. And with that, we can adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.